Podium Audio presents The Other Magic, Book 1 of The Passage to Dawn, written by Derek Smythe, performed by Greg Patmore. Kibure had never seen fog like this. A plume of white mist swirled toward him, a hand reaching out to steal away with his soul. Kibure cowered in his cage, covering his face in futile defense against the unknown entity. He had heard tales of unbound ancestral spirits angrily awaiting passage into the afterlife. Had the river become a conduit for their vengeance against the world of the living? Kibure shook helplessly as the cold essence washed over him. He breathed a sigh of relief minutes later when nothing happened. The trembling in his hands remained long after. More than an hour later, the activity on board the barge had slowed only slightly. Zagreb appeared from behind a stack of cargo alongside Sindri and a man dressed in a bright-coloured jacket and trousers. Around them, men continued to work busily to secure the cargo with ropes. Zagreb was saying, "Excellent news, Captain. We'll be off before the sun breaks the fog." "Indeed," replied the captain, who smiled and nodded toward Kibure. "I must tell you, must go, Zagreb. I don't see many slaves chained and caged, especially not one so..." He frowned. "Sickly in appearance. He's not diseased, is he?" The captain's eyes narrowed. "Or is he one of those Tassamines?" Taking a step back, he growled, "I won't abide that aboard my ship. No, sir. I won't test Clara's patience upon the seas." Zagreb forced an awkward chuckle. "Oh, no. Of course not. Well, you can't be too careful these days. He might not look like much, but he's quite the escapist and a runner. Too much work trying to chase him all around is all." A cluster of newcomers approached, stopping a few paces away. To Kibure's astonishment, 3 of them were tied together, more slaves. They were led by the taller of the 2 deckhands from earlier, who found a nearby post. "Here?" A portly man squeezed between the slaves and the balcony to get a better look. He pointed to a tall post a few paces from Kibure's cage, one of the few remaining spaces available. "Right there, will do nicely." Zagreb greeted the newcomer while the slaves were being secured. "Oh, Bragdon, it's been too long, brother." The 2 embraced in a firm hug and slapped each other's backs hard before separating. The similarity between them was striking. They could have been twins. Stepping back, Zagreb said, "I was beginning to worry that you'd hold up our departure. Captain Teague here says we're almost ready to lift anchor." "Ah, you always were the early riser. Should have gone into town last evening. You'd understand my reason for keeping in bed a bit longer. She had a good-looking friend, if you catch my meaning." He wiggled his eyebrows. "A man forgets the lively nature of these river towns after too long away. The women here are unrivalled." Zagreb shook his head. "I see you're still keeping to your marriage vows." Zagreb's retort appeared lost on his brother. Noticing Kibure, Bragdon remarked, "Ooh, I like the cage. This little mongrel must be quite a handful. Wish I'd thought of bringing something like that. I'd sleep easier knowing mine was so secure." Turning to Captain Teague, he continued, "You got any more cages?" Captain Teague seemed to awaken from a standing slumber at the mention of his name. No." Shaking his head, he mumbled, "You Muscos are a paranoid lot. Perhaps I should invest in a few cages. Could charge for rent." He excused himself by saying, "Best to see to a few things before setting off, lest I make a liar of myself." He exchanged a quick handshake with the Muscos before escaping from sight. Zagreb nervously whispered to Sindri, who had been examining one of the nearby crates. "The boy is fully secured, right?" Sindri smiled and answered loud enough for all to hear, "He is. Though, if you're still frightened, I'd suggest maintaining a healthy distance. He's liable to—" She paused, then suddenly brought her hands up. "Rattle the bars!" Zagreb jumped. Sindri grinned. "I've seen him do it. It's terrifying." She winked and let out a slight chuckle. Zagreb glared at her. He opened his mouth, but Bragdon interrupted their exchange. "Here. Bragdon's eyes swept appreciatively over Sindri. "Now I see why you remained with the cargo last evening." Licking his lips, he continued. "How much would it cost for an evening with her?"